Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name's Jared Beckwith. If you don't know me, I'm an EEG technologist who records patients' brainwaves, and I'm also making software that labels those brainwaves. But in the past, I had my insurance license from the Florida Department of Financial Services, and I did marketing for different stuff like life insurance and also annuities, retirement planning, all good stuff like that. So what I learned from Steve Jobs was his 3 core marketing principles that he learned from one of his mentors. In 1977, his mentor put out a 1-page document outlining the 3 core principles of Apple's marketing plan. And these were the 3 things that his mentor taught him and led Apple to being one of the greatest companies of all time. The first core principle in Apple's marketing philosophy is empathy. So they wanted to truly understand their customers' needs and wants better than any other company on earth. So I applied that principle to myself. Once I decided that I wanted to make EEG software, I wasn't just going to be the guy who just studies software and didn't know how to read an EEG, didn't know what it's like to be in the hospital, didn't know anything what an EEG technologist or an epileptologist, neurologist, what they want. And in order to understand those people's wants and needs, I dedicated myself to going to school, getting into the hospital, actually doing the job. I quit my financial services marketing position to get into the hospital. I went back to school. I didn't have to go back to school. I went back to school and I learned everything I could about EEG since I wanted to become an EEG software developer. So by interviewing my supervisors at my clinical site where I did my clinical training, by every day placing electrodes on the patient's scalp, learning how to read the brain waves, learning all the ins and outs of the hospital, learning about the different types of EEGs like ICU EEGs, epilepsy monitoring unit EEGs, the routine EEGs. I know a lot more about EEGs than some other random guy who wants to start an EEG software company and has never worked as an EEG technologist or an epileptologist or even been in the hospital for a long period of time. I dedicated myself so much that I learned how to read an EEG, how to hook up the patient, everything that has to do with EEG. So by becoming the customer, I'm able to understand my customers' needs and wants better than any other company in my space of EEG software. So I'm able to relate to the customer by saying, what would I want? Because I'm an EEG technologist right now. That's what I do every single day. So by determining what I would like, what would help me automate my job, make my job easier, I am my own target market. And I also have the background of computer programming. Like, I've taken introduction to software development classes, but I'm not a crazy programmer. So my brother and my dad, they're way better programmers than me, so they can handle the more of the programming side of things, and I will make sure that I know exactly what the customer wants and handle the marketing side of things. So that is the first principle. So if you want to start a business or whatever, make sure you understand your customers' needs and wants better than any other company in your space. And even better, do what I did, quit your job, or if it applies to your job, even better, you don't have to quit your job, and become the customer. Become the customer, and then you will know what they want. Like Steve Jobs, for example, he was his own customer. He was making stuff that he wanted to use. And the reason why I even came across EEG and stuff is because I had this crazy idea of wanting to connect brains to computers. Now that's not going to happen anytime soon, and it's not going to be done with an EEG. It's probably going to be done with implanted electrodes, and that's not going to even be possible, and it would take at least 1 million electrodes or more, which is nowhere near possible. Yeah, not going to happen within the next 10, 20 years. Maybe 30, 40, 50 years from now, we can have a high bandwidth connection between brains and computers. So that is the big picture goal, now that I'm thinking about it. So on to the second marketing principle of Apple. The second principle in Apple's marketing philosophy is to focus. In order to do the important things, you're going to have to eliminate all the other unimportant opportunities that are wasting your time. You have to focus on everything that makes your product or makes your business better and disregard every single thing else. A million different things to do are going to pop up throughout your day, but you want to focus on the most important, maybe one or two things, but I would say the most important thing of the day. If you want to focus on that one important thing, you have to eliminate everything else and put your extreme focus on that one thing. Bill Gates and investor Warren Buffett were both asked, what is the most important quality for success? And they both looked at each other and they said the same exact thing. They said, focus. So that Steve Jobs and his mentor, marketing mentor, also thought the same thing, which is why that is the number 2 principle of their marketing philosophy back in 1977. Focus, guys. Don't get distracted. Don't let girls distract you if you're a guy, and if you're a girl, don't let guys texting you all day distract you. Focus on what you want to do and make it happen. The third and final core principle of Apple's marketing philosophy of 1977 is to impute. And what they mean by that is that people judge a book by its cover. Whether you like it or not, people judge a book by its cover. So you may have the best product, the best software, the highest quality on earth, but if you present your product or software in a slipshod manner, people are going to see it as not quality. But if you present your software and do a demo in an amazing, creative, professional manner, then people are going to impute those desired qualities to your product or service. Now, this is one of my creative presentations and showing off what I learned from Steve Jobs in his biography, one of my favorite biographies. I'm always reading different biographies and trying to learn from different people, and that's how I learned, guys. Steve Jobs was famous for his on-stage presentations where he dazzled the audience, got thousands of people to love and be super hyped up to go out and buy his products, which is why Apple became one of the greatest and most highly valued companies on earth. So I think everyone watching this video can learn something from Steve Jobs and what he thought about marketing. Or even better, this was not even from Steve Jobs, this is from the person who taught Steve Jobs the basic principles of marketing. So since I have a background in marketing, I thought I would share this. Plus I'm marketing my software in the future, Ion. If you guys are interested, stay tuned, it's not ready yet. So yeah, I don't even have anything to sell you. I'm just here to give you guys as much value as possible. And if I'm not even using the software yet, if I'm not even ready to use it in the hospital yet, then I'm obviously not gonna put it on to you guys or sell it to you guys. And another thing that Steve Jobs says is that we don't ship junk. So that's another thing that I live by. If I think it's junk, it's not going to be on sale. We don't ship junk, only quality products that I would use myself in the hospital. That's why it was so important for me to quit my job in financial services marketing to become my desired customer, an EEG technologist, and learn what their needs and desires are. Back to empathy, back to the first principle, empathy. That's why it's so important for me to be able to empathize with my desired customer. If I'm not even using my software in the hospital daily and think that it's something that everyone else needs, it's not going to be for sale. It's going to be off limits and only in the testing phase, alpha testing phase, where you test it yourself, and that's where it is right now. I'm just being honest and forthcoming, and that's another thing that I think is important, honesty, because if someone's not trustworthy, then you're not really going to buy for them. That would make no sense. You don't want to buy from a slick salesman. I think marketing kind of has a bad rap. Some people think like marketing, you got to be like super confident and wear a suit and try to use these weird tactics. No, just be honest, be friendly, make friends, and if people like you, then they're going to buy from you in the future. Especially if you have something that would actually help them and improve their lives and give them way more value than they're paying in price. That's another thing I think is important. You have to give 10 times the amount of value than you're making people pay. And if you're not doing that, then I don't really think you earn their business and they should take their business somewhere else. So that's all I have today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the like button if you learned something today. Make sure you leave your comments down below. Give me feedback. I really appreciate it. I will see you guys on the next video.